Okay, awesome. Looks like it's live now. So, hey everybody. I'm sorry I'm getting to do this so late today. Today was kind of a off day. We ended up having maintenance come over to do something emergency for downstairs, and then things just started to get away from me. But I wanted to make sure that I put out another live video today because I've made it a dedicated goal to make a live video every day for the foreseeable future. So, I just wanted to make sure I got on to do it tonight. So, whether or not you're able to watch this live tonight, hopefully the information here will be helpful for you. So I made a list of 15 things that you can do rather than stress about the coronavirus, because I know that a lot of the stress that's going on in people's lives right now is centered on the coronavirus, not necessarily centered on the typical things that bring people stress. So I wanted to make sure that I can make a little bit of content for that. It's hard for me to see myself with the light being so bright in the darkness, so if you think the light needs to be brighter or it's too bright, just feel free to comment that below. So before I get started here though, I really want to talk to you about stress related to triggers and how triggers can actually increase your stress more. So when you start noticing that things are causing you to have stress or stressing you out, you want to make sure to kind of start to pull down the stress as soon as you possibly can. I made a video yesterday about breathing exercises and how breathing exercises can help you to decrease your stress. So I definitely hope you take a look at that. But a couple things that I'm noticing with the people that I'm talking to and the people that I know personally are that Facebook and the news are things that are stressing them out quite a bit. So I would recommend to you that if you're finding yourself stressed out from too much news or too much Facebook, to just take a break from it. It's not the end of the world if you're not paying attention to what's going on every moment of every day. You know, it might make sense to maybe check in the morning and check in maybe around like 5, 6 o'clock and then kind of let it go. That said, if you need help uncovering what your stress triggers actually are, that's definitely something that you and I could talk about. And if you're interested in that, feel free to go to Destress with Josh, all one word, /talk. There you can set up a meeting for us to have a one-on-one consultation. It's free, there's no obligation or anything like that. If you're feeling stressed out, feel free to set that up. I mean, obviously at the end I'm going to ask you to sign up for a program, but if it's not right for you, you don't have the money or whatever, I'm not going to push you. I'm happy to just talk to you about what's going on. If there are any things that are triggering you, I'm happy to help you to just let those things go. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about here is something that's going to seem kind of counterintuitive. And it's something that one of my heroes, Dr. Milton H. Erickson, recommends, and that's if you have chronic panic, to just take a little bit of time every day to let yourself have the panic. And I know this seems really counterintuitive, but you know, for instance, if you're finding yourself looking at the news and panicking and looking at the news and panicking and doing that quite a lot, make a conscious choice to do that at 2 set times during the day, maybe at like 8 in the morning and 6 at night, and do it for 30 minutes and then stop. And I know that that may be easier to say than it is to do, but it's definitely a therapeutic technique that a lot of people have used productively. So if you're finding yourself having panic, that's something to keep in mind. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, then obviously don't do it again. Okay, so the second thing that I want to mention to you here is that, or the second thing that you could do rather than having panic about coronavirus, is to watch hypnosis videos. I am rebranding from having run a full-on hypnosis clinic to now just teaching people about stress. And so if you're interested in watching hypnosis videos, you can check out my YouTube channel. I just now today got it moved over to De-Stress with Josh. So if you look for me on YouTube, just type in De-Stress with Josh on YouTube, you'll be able to see quite a lot of hypnosis videos. In my previous life as a hypnotherapist, I made a ton of videos about stress relief, videos for relaxation, different meditations, and things like that. Also, if you find yourself smoking too much because you're stressed out, I have a couple videos about smoking cessation on there as well. Okay. Now, the third thing that you could do rather than stressing out about coronavirus would be to think about what you're grateful for. Some people refer to this as the gratefulness game or the gratitude game, and it's a very helpful thing to just do, to think about the things you're grateful for. You know, if you're home more often than you're used to being, maybe you get more time to spend with your kids, maybe you get more time to spend with your significant other, your spouse, your friends you really like, you get more time to hang out with your pet. I'm sure if you're anything like me, my cat is really happy I'm home all the time. So, you know, take some time and really delve into and think about the things you're grateful for. It's a much better thing to do than stressing out. And if you start to focus on the things you're grateful for, it's going to allow you to take time to not only recognize the things you're grateful for, but it's going to start to open up different pathways in your neurology so you can get more focused on things that make you happy. So what I would recommend you do is you just sit down or stand up or whatever wherever you're at, and just take a couple minutes to think about the things in your life you're really grateful for. And it can even be simple things like, you can be grateful that you're healthy right now. You can be grateful that you have food in the fridge. You can be grateful that you're able to spend time with your pets, your friends, your spouse, your kids. Whatever it is that you're grateful for, just start to think about it and just keep adding on to it. It could be very simple things like, I'm grateful I have a cup of water right now because I have a dry throat. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be intense. It doesn't have to be deep. Just think about things that you're currently grateful for. All right, so the fourth thing that you could do rather than stress out about the coronavirus is call people that you love and see how they're doing. Now, obviously, you're not going to want to do this every day, just pick up the phone and call every single person that you know. But if you're thinking about somebody or you're worried about them, give them a call. See how they're doing. See if there's anything you could do to help them out. It might be nice for them to just hear your voice, to have something to do other than think about what's going on, maybe to just catch up. But try that. Try calling some people that you know and that you care about and just see how they're doing. Make it all about them. I know when I take time to focus on other people, I have a tendency to forget about what's going on in my life, what's stressing me out, what's bothering me. And so I hope that calling people and seeing how they're doing can do the same thing for you. Okay, so now the fifth thing that you could do rather than stress out right now is volunteer. And there's actually surprisingly a lot of ways that you can volunteer in a virtual way. A couple things that I found today are some crisis centers have text and call options available where you can volunteer from home. Definitely something to look into if you're interested in it. Another thing you could volunteer to do is to read books out loud. There's a couple of different sites that help blind people find books to read or find people to read them books. And also there are a couple sites like LibriVox, Libervox. It's a Latin word that means free voice or book voice. But that site allows you to read books that are in the public domain in order to make audiobooks. So if you've ever wanted to be a voiceover narrator or to be somebody that reads audiobooks, I definitely recommend that you look into LibriVox and check them out. They have an awesome service. Another place you could volunteer is a site called Be My Eyes. It's a site where you can help blind people to do things that are difficult to do without being able to see. So it would be like helping them navigate web forms and really simple things like that. But check that site out, Be My Eyes. And if you're willing to go outside right now, there are a couple of other places you can volunteer. For instance, blood banks are really having a lot of issues getting enough blood right now, and they really need it. So if you're feeling well and you're able to go out, giving blood is definitely a way that you could volunteer. And another way you could volunteer if you're willing to go out is to volunteer at a food bank, or maybe even go to the store to get things that the food bank needs. There are a lot of ways that you could volunteer in your local area, so I definitely recommend that you think about that, because I know when I get super wrapped up in stress about what's going on right now, or stress in general. Something that really helps me out is to just put myself in a position where I can do something else, particularly something to help somebody else. And if that sounds like you, then volunteering is a great way to do that. The sixth thing you could do is catch up on reading. I don't know about you, but I have a tremendous amount of reading that I need to catch up on. And if I have the time, it's great. In fact, after I finish this video, I'm going to finish up a book I've been putting off for quite a while. And I'm really excited about that. The next thing that you could do, the seventh thing you could do, is to start a passion project. I know a lot of people have projects in mind, like businesses, or writing a book, or many different things. And if you have a passion project you've been putting off and you have the time right now, it's a great time to get started on it. You could start right now. The eighth thing I would recommend that you do right now is research specific nonprofits and donate to them. A lot of nonprofits are struggling right now because they're having to cancel events and they're missing out on a lot of fundraising opportunities. And so if you know a nonprofit that you really like, it's a good time to look into them, check out what they're doing, see if they need any help with anything, offer them donations, and even share their information on your Facebook page. There's so much right now that's coming up on Facebook that's just related to coronavirus. It'd be great to have an opportunity to see different things out there on Facebook. Okay, the eighth thing I would recommend right now is finding new musical artists. It's a great time in the world for music because there are just so many artists out there right now that are struggling to get gigs or struggling to sell their music. And also, it's a great time to just find artists that you've never heard of before. So if there are some artists that you really like or that you haven't listened to in a while, check them out. See if they have any new albums out. See if they're putting out shows. A lot of artists right now are doing live streaming shows. And if you can catch one of those, it might be great. It's also a great time to buy their music because people that are in the independent publishing or independent music business are really struggling right now. The next thing that you could do rather than stressing out would be to check out Patrick Stewart reading Shakespearean sonnets. He, every day for the past week, has been reading a Shakespearean sonnet on Twitter. Now, I know Shakespeare's not my favorite thing in the world, but if Shakespeare's something you like, check it out. All right. Another thing that you could do, it's a little bit more heady and intellectual here, but you could take time to really think about the life that you actually want to live and focus on how you can start to live it once everything goes past, this quarantine and all that. I think a lot of people don't spend time figuring out the kind of life that they want to live and working towards it. And if you're in a situation right now where you don't have a lot to do, or you have a lot of free time, or you're bored or frustrated or stressed, it's a really good time to introspect and think about what it is that you want out of life, where you could go, what you want to do, and how you could get there. Now again, if this is something that you struggle with or you'd like some help with, feel free to check out my website, destresswithjosh.com/talk, and set up a consultation. We can talk about this stuff and I can help point you in the right direction, maybe help you uncover some things. And again, it's a free call. If you're interested in working with me at the end, great. If you're not, no obligations, nothing like that. All right, so the next thing that I would recommend that you do is learn something you've always wanted to do. There are a lot of people out there in the world that want to learn new skills and haven't had the time to do it until now. But if you have plenty of free time, then it's a great time to learn. One thing I would recommend learning is hypnosis. I'm a little bit biased in that direction, but hypnosis drastically changed my life. I love it a lot, and it's a great thing. I run another YouTube page called Master Hypnosis Now. If you check that website, or you check that out on YouTube, or check out the website, you can learn a couple things about hypnosis. I've been kind of bad about updating it over the last 6 months or so, but it's something I'm going to start updating more regularly, and I'm in contact with quite a few hypnotists, so I am hoping to be able to do some interviews on things like anchoring, NLP for sales, and a lot of really cool stuff like that. So if hypnosis is something you'd like to learn, check that out, but you don't have to feel limited by that. Think to yourself, is there anything that you've wanted to learn? Maybe you have a guitar or a piano sitting around and you've never taken the time to practice it or really learn it. Right now is a great time to do that. You probably have a lot of time. The next thing that I would recommend that you do is to take free university classes. There are a ton of university classes offered by Stanford, Berkeley, Harvard, Yale. They're out all over the place. You can get a lot of them on iTunes. You can see a lot of them on YouTube. And also there's a website I found the other day called ClassCentral.com that has a wide variety of college classes available freely online. So if there's anything you've ever wanted to learn or check out in a university setting, feel free to do that. Just check it out. I mean, there's nothing stopping you from learning. In the same token, the teaching company has a lot of really, really awesome basic level university classes that are taught at a super simple level, expecting you to not really know anything about the discipline and take you to a point where you go through an entire college class. I love their classes. They're not free like the ones on ClassCentral.com, but that's another place to check out the Teaching Center. The next thing that I would recommend you do is to start a blog. I have several blogs. I love it. I have even been able to monetize a couple of them, which is really great. I mean, I'm not making a fortune doing it, but you can pretty easily make a couple $100s a year, up to a few thousand, depending on how you're able to monetize it and what the content is. So if you've been thinking about starting a blog, it's something you're interested in, I would highly, highly recommend that you take the time to do that right now. There's a YouTube channel called Income School, and they have a lot of really great content on how to do effective SEO on your blog to really get people interested in reading it. And their position is really straightforward. They say that you need to just look for things that people are already Googling and searching for, and then write content about that. And to make sure that you write a blog about something you're passionate about, something you know a lot about, and something that you're really able to easily write about, take photos of yourself doing, things like that. And it's a really great way to talk about a passion that you have. Maybe you're interested in some kind of like esoteric thing like tarot cards or astrology, or maybe you're interested in something like hunting or go-karts or reading specific books or anything like that. And the possibilities for blogging are kind of wide open. And the thing that's great about it is you don't necessarily even have to monetize it if you don't want to. You ultimately want people to find your blog and to read the things you're talking about, so it makes sense to pay attention to the things that are going to drive you traffic. But if you're not interested in making any money off of it, you don't have to. And the cool thing is that you can start it out that way, and if you decide later to make money off of it, it's not that hard to make money off of it. You can do affiliate marketing. You can put different ads on your page. You can do like Google ads. There are a bunch of different ad companies that you could set up on there. And you can also, once you have a following, start making info products or offer people services like coaching or anything like that. And again, there's a wide variety of things you could blog about. So if you've ever been interested in blogging or you really like writing, I would recommend that you take this time to just get started. You can make a free blog on WordPress.com and also on, I think, Blogspot, Blogger. There's a bunch of free places you can make blogs. I think you can make a free one on Wix and a couple other places like that. I would recommend, if ultimately your goal would be to monetize it, that you get your own domain, whatever.com. But you can definitely start out on WordPress. There's no problem with that. And I know a couple people who've even been able to monetize their, so-and-so.wordpress.com blogs. The final thing I would recommend for you here that you could do rather than stressing out right now is to deep clean your space, deep clean your house, or arrange it how you would like it to be arranged. I today got interrupted in what I wanted to do because maintenance came in and they were in here all day, and then I had to run some errands and they took forever. But I took the time that maintenance was here to start deep cleaning my apartment, and it feels really good. It smells nice in here, there's less dust, my allergies are feeling better, and it's really nice to have a clean space. And so if you're stressing out right now, cleaning your space could be exactly what you need to do. And on that token, when you're cleaning, you can turn it into a mindfulness meditation. And the way that you would do that is really simple. You just want to be completely embedded in the process of cleaning. And I know it sounds sort of weird, but one of the tenets of mindfulness, if you look at it from an Eastern religion perspective, is that the person that's mindful eats when they're hungry, uses the restroom when they need to, and goes to sleep when they're tired. And this is something that most of us don't really do. We're often not present in the moment. We're doing stuff, but our minds are off somewhere else, what the philosopher Heidegger calls distantiality. We have a tendency to not stay in the given task. And so if you want to turn cleaning into a mindfulness meditation, really all you need to do is just pay attention to what's going on in the moment and do it. So, while you're scrubbing, think to yourself about scrubbing. Think to yourself about your hand moving. Think to yourself about your breathing while you're scrubbing. Think to yourself about how nice and clean it looks. But just keep your mind focused on cleaning. And really that's all you need to do in order to turn cleaning into a mindfulness meditation. So I hope that this list has been helpful for you. There's only a couple people on right now, but if you have any questions, feel free to put them up, and I'm happy to address them. If you have any additional things that you found helpful for de-stressing in the current moment, definitely feel free to comment them below so other people are able to see them. And again, if you need somebody to talk to or you're interested in looking into stress coaching, feel free to check out my website, destresswithjosh.com, all one word, /talk. And you can set up a consultation there. We can talk about what's going on for you and give you a couple hints and tips about how you could start de-stressing in your own life. And obviously, if you do that, I'm going to ask you at the end if you want to work together. But if you don't, no big deal. I don't need to hard sell you or anything like that. I really only want to work with people that really want, support and help over the long term. But I'm more than happy to talk to anybody that needs help right now. So if you're interested, feel free to destresswithjosh.com /talk. Okay, it doesn't look like anybody has any questions or comments or anything to add here, so I think I'm going to end it there. Just keep in mind that if there's anything that's triggering you to get higher and higher stress levels, start backing away from it, start doing more productive things. A lot of the problem that people are having right now is that we're stuck in our houses, there's not really a lot we can do, it's not like you can really fight a virus or do a whole lot against it. So think about other things you can do to get immersed in your life, because human beings are supposed to be immersed in what we're doing. We're beings that live in a world, we're not beings that live in our heads. And the more you stay stuck in your head, the more difficult it is to navigate the life that you live. So I hope this has been a helpful video for you, and I hope you're able to find at least one of the things I talked about that you can do to start de-stressing or keep your mind focused on something else. And I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye-bye.